Hi, this is Colorful Foresight, where we intuitively connect from within. And it's Woo Woo time, where we connect our woo woo into our mundane living. Hello, this is Learning Tarot on Miracles. And today we have Gerald from Tarot Stash and me, Colorful Foresight. So please subscribe to both of our channel and also like, subscribe, it's free, and listen from within. So the today's topic is to uplift our mood, especially during this challenging time. And also, let's see what our spirit guide have to teach us collectively, what each of the 22 major arcana, how miracle could be seen. So even though Gerald and I are talking, and you'll be listening to us, you can play this for yourself also, either with us or especially after, because even though we're collectively working, it's really all about your relationship with your card. And I was sharing with, first, before I continue, we did a video, and this is actually like the second part of our video we did called It's Woo Woo, Even for Me, Miraculous Experiences, right? So I'll put the link in under his video after and under mine. But this is where we discovered about the Four of Cups. And what we learned is, well, I'm sure, well, there we go. Okay, so what we learned, we see the Four of Cups is, there's many reasons you can look at that video, but basically how miracle may show up where the Four of Cups we're getting offered from the universe, but are we seeing it? So maybe we're paying attention to everything else. And then as we were sharing our miracles, we learned that miracles not always fantastical, and sometimes it's very intimidating, which could be, I think in your example, you had some kind of medical issue and there was a solution. So it's like we forget it's not always like pie in the sky and obvious, but we're going to see how this shows up. So I want to say hi to everybody in the comment. Thank you for being here. Hi, Annie and Hirsch and Spiritual Garden and Jackie and Alex, and whoever else shows up. So let us know what you think after. That's very important. Like, your comment matters. I'm kind of curious, like, what you get from it. So, is there anything you want to add to that, Gerald?
Well, I want to add a couple of things, because please verify that you are subscribed to both of our channels. It is important, as Sylvia was saying, and it's me, so this is for entertainment purposes only. Do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance. Really. And you, I mean, we know just from what Sylvia has, she is for entertainment purposes only. That is her title, but beneath her, and I'm just Tarot Stash. So
yeah,
it's great to also see so many people here, because what's really wonderful is, Sylvia, I think you asked me to do this with you last week.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah.
I think this is a brilliant idea. And if I'm getting ahead of myself, my apologies. But we were chatting backstage, and we, seeing the miracles every day is like noticing the glimmers in our everyday life.
Exactly.
The importance of finding those little bits of light, those shining stars, the things where we feel happy, we feel connected, we feel grounded, is really significantly important, especially now. And we get to train ourselves to do that. So many people who are watching are readers, or they do things with cards. And there is a great opportunity to use the cards and get your mind and your eyes and your spirit and your guides to recognize those beautiful miracles.
Yeah. And I'm going to say, if you're not a tarot reader, this is how it could apply to you. Just listen to the message.
Absolutely.
And maybe the visual of the card will speak to you. Maybe it's not what we're saying, but that how we could create that intention that everybody gets the benefit from watching this. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take turn on each card, but we're gonna talk about it, and then we could create a little feedback. But I don't know, we're gonna kind of, this is a collective thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's start. Yeah. You know what? Talking about the backstage bit. One of the First of all, spirit guides just want us to talk about it because that's why we're connected. Forget about what I think. Blah 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 blah. But one of the things I shared with Gerald is that sometimes I've been doing this for decades, but I kind of gave up for a long time because I take it too literal, and the book kind of it distracted me because then I got to know this and that. But for some people, it works for them. So when I got into the YouTube channel, not that I was planning to read cards, but I developed a love for it. And then especially a lot of you who are like I watch Gerald, I watch Jackie and all that. Um, it made me, enjoy it in different ways. So one of the ways I do, if you watch some of my videos, is I'll create I'll show a video clip and then I'll say, how does this apply to the card? And it will show me cards that I never thought of. Like if I see a funny card, I would automatically assume it's the Fool card. It could be the Page of Cups. But what it does is it tells me the nuance. So if the person being silly or funny, but it's about, being funny with the husband, it will show me other cards that I never thought of. So
Correct.
that's one of the ways, kind of like what we're doing with this. So, and
Mhm.
before we start, any of you have any insight you want to add? Because you're part of the collective. You want to
You're
add anything? Let's see.
you're part of this experience, and that's one of the great things that I appreciate about reading online and reading with other people. I see things in those cards that have never seen before. So what you are noticing is the miracle that you're seeing. That helps to inform me. And hashtag overachiever, I have my notes with me
Ooh,
so that I can actually add things to what
yeah.
you're all sharing and what I'm learning from Sylvia. And by the way, you don't have
I
to
love
listen.
that about you. Because your
Oh,
studious aspect helps. It makes me
well,
appreciate it more.
well, thank you.
So,
And by the way, don't listen to this, Sylvia. Everybody, I'm going to ask Sylvia to come on for a Tarot the Stash Way, talking about growing as a reader and how there's different ways to grow as a reader.
yes.
So, I mean, if you would like that, please leave a comment. Please put something in chat and encouraging her um, to 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 say yes.
Yeah. And you know what it is? Like you guys who are advanced, um, you're going to get something new from it regardless, because we're not going to be like the fool means this. It's creative. We're creative, so we'll find out in a very creative way. So before we start, show your card, the deck that you're using. I'm using the Lightsayer Tarot by Chris Ann, just to give them credit for the beautiful artwork and for them putting it together.
And by the way, guess what? I'm using the Robin Wood Tarot.
Mm.
So this is the Robin Wood Tarot, the book. Everybody knows my love affair with the Robin Wood Tarot. And it was a close by deck, and it was easy for me to put in order. And I have my stack of books have actually fallen down, but
Oh
I
no.
I want to encourage everybody who is studying tarot to, when you read the guidebook, because hashtag always buy the guidebook. Um, I have a true crime tarot cheat sheet that really adds. Oh, I love it.
It's kind of like what you do with your notes. So that's what she's saying. She had one of those too.
I love that. But see, when you are focused on paying attention to something in your life, you get to see it more. It's
Mm.
like it's that idea of the yellow car syndrome. When you buy a yellow car, you notice all of the yellow cars. And that's a really powerful thing. So when you're doing things like reading a book, I don't know, Decode Tarot, Deborah Zachow, the Robin Wood deck, the 21 Ways to Read Tarot Cards by Mary Kay Greer. Um, those are things to notice because that's where we're putting our energy. So
That's
any-
awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. I'm feeling the energy. So you guys are tuned in? Okay. So let's start. Let's ask for our spirit, our collective spirit guide in the most benevolent way. Show us how miracles showed up. A glimmer in the 22 Major Arcana card. So I'll start and then we'll go from there. I'm going to start with the Fool.
I'm going to show mine as well, just because.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. We'll go side by side. You know what? They're telling me we could both contribute. So the Fool on the basic level is like being surprised. You know, being like childlike. Wow, everything is wow. The Fool. What comes to my mind in regard miracles is sometimes being jaded. It leaves out the idea of seeing miracles or the glimmer in life. So being like that childlike. What you're getting?
I think the miracle about the Fool card is optimism and hope. No
Mm,
one has hope like an innocent child because they don't have that experience of the disappointment. So I think
mm.
the miracle about this is optimism and how we look at it. I love the image in your card. You know, someone is falling back into that sacred geometry pond there. And in
Which is
this,
miraculous.
yeah, it's beautiful. And oh, and Hershey says the jester pants are funnable.
Oh, and you know
Absolutely.
what's interesting? You got like the nature with your card versus the woo woo. You know, the
I
miracles and everything. You know, in
Mhm.
the mundane and the woo woo, like miraculous out of the sky thing. It's just interesting. Not yeah.
It's
So it
beautiful.
wasn't. Yeah. So next card is the magician. What do you got?
And I think the miracle about the magician for me is there is always a way to find a creative uh this is an opportunity excuse me. Everybody sip.
Step step. All right.
This is in the magician. The miracle that comes out for me most importantly is you have everything that you need. Be creative and lean into that creativity to find a solution that you may have missed in the first glance. What
Right?
about
Because
you?
it's around us that we think we
Yes.
don't have. Mm. Okay, so you bringing that up, like this reminder of what it's already around us. Do we notice? Kind of goes with that
Oh,
four cup.
yeah.
The four cup, it's like offering you, it's there in front of you,
Yes.
kind of like the yellow thing he mentioned. You talk about yellows, and suddenly everything shows up as yellow. It was there the whole time.
Mhm.
So
Uh,
it goes
yeah.
with that glimmer thing, the glimmer idea of what you put out there, you see more.
Yes,
So
and there's this idea of making do and mending.
mm,
So I think the miracle of that is when we pause long enough to see what we have around us, then we can go, "Oh, well, I don't really need that extra special tool. I have all of the tools that that I need. I just get to use them in a different way."
interesting. Yeah, it's kind of yeah. Wow.
Pamela
It
said
has
the
like a
most
faith vibe to it. Like I have faith, that's just the way it is.
yes.
That kind of thinking. You
Pamela
know,
said, oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Pamela said the most woo and enchanted world is the most ordinary, mundane all around us.
Which is funny because in our other video we talked about my channel is about bringing the woo woo into our mundane living. But even
Yes.
as he was sharing his mundane miracles, when I first start doing it woo woo, even for me, I kind of learned something. I was expecting it always be like fantastical. And then as I was listening to him, this awareness like, oh, the mundane, bringing the woo woo into mundane. So yeah, that goes perfect.
I am all about bringing
Which
the
is
woo-woo.
magician if you think about it, right?
Yes, bringing the woo-woo into the mundane because then suddenly you're not just walking the dog, you're connecting with nature. You're not just washing the dishes, you're feeling and you're finding yourself and what it's like to be in your home. So I love that. I love that. Maru said, my magician has arms coming out of the top of his head. Oh, I love that.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, we go more about it, but we'll go right to the high priestess.
Mhm.
So, okay, when we just look at that, the miracle is being mythical. Mythical is being able to be like the magician, like the fool, the magician, and as simple as closing your eyes or keeping your eyes open. Because if you look at the eyes, it's both at the same time.
Yes.
Usually the high priest is more like, behind the scene and different things, but being the fool, and because remember, we are all of the 78 card one way or another, so, or had that kind of experience. Um, Going from like action oriented to mystical and then going behind the scene, it's teaching me about how we could see or not see the miracle. I don't know. That's what's coming about. What you got?
I think the miracle about this is especially, well, I think the miracle is that we as spiritual beings and empaths have a connection, and that connection is direct to source. Sometimes the miracle is needing some time alone and the ability to read something or to write something, and really get that trusting what it is that's coming from me, because that's probably the best thing for me in a world where a lot of people are egocentric and they're so outgoing, they're in social media. The high priestess is that miracle of, I'm okay with being by myself because I like who I am.
Yeah,
So
yeah. That's why they come off as a little mysterious at times, because they don't need
mhm.
to be like so out and about, and they're pretty confident in themselves. Especially when we talk about miracles, we don't have to ask or show that everything is miracle or tell people. It just is. That kind of the vibe I get from. That's the kind of vibe I get from listening to you about how she is. It just is. That's
Yes.
the way it
Yes.
is.
So insightful, Sylvia, because the high priestess knows that she has the power. She doesn't need to let everybody else know she has the power.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, and I think, that deserves a fan thwart. She knows she is all that, but everybody else doesn't need to recognize that. And that's
True.
extremely powerful.
Yeah. That's nice to have that kind of confidence, like get up to that confident level.
Yes.
Let's see.
More people have come in, so I want to say hello. Oh, thank you. My
Okay,
high,
go ahead.
I like high priestess would have her head in the clouds. Oh, okay.
Hi, Steven. Cosmic Orb.
Steven.
If you want to know about cards and tarot decks, there we go.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. And what Pamela said, and it's all in her silence.
Actually, you don't want to be telling all the secret. That's the thing.
Oh, well, that's the fourth pillar of the Magus: to know, to will, to dare, to keep silent.
Mm.
You don't have to give your power away. Um, let's see. Madame Maru
That's why
asked a
they call it
question.
investigation. Keep it
Yes,
quiet.
yes. Madame Maru had a question at 19 after. Would you consider it miraculous that my Fool card has a cat instead of a dog? I would say yes, because guess what? Fools, a cat's not going to be paying attention to that fool unless there's something really serious. So,
Right, and also they're going by like the old vagabond days where they
yeah.
had a companion. But like you have something like this, the modern day approach, there's no animals involved. But the fool could be hanging with the birds, having the bird fly over them. I don't know. That's
Yes.
pretty interesting.
Hi, Sherry.
Especially if you are home a lot, so you would have your cat. You don't really need a dog. So the next card is the Empress. Oh, you're the one. Go ahead.
No, yeah, no, we're holding them up at the same time. I love this.
Yeah.
I think, the miracle about this is there's something, I'm not a mother. I did
Hmm.
have a mother who was pretty spectacular. Look at this, look at this Empress's face. She knows everything that is going on. She has this, I think the miracle about that is the mother's intuition in knowing exactly what people need before they realize that they need it, and the willingness to make it happen. When I see okay, I'll stop talking. What about you, Sylvia?
No, it makes sense. The feminine aspect is about receptivity, right? But we also see
Yes.
how men sometimes, could we all technically have masculine and feminine in us.
Yes.
So sometimes I'm tapping into our feminine aspect, whether female or male. That's the miracle of receptivity. So that's what I'm getting. The miracle is the receiving. A lot of us intuitive are not great receivers. So
Yes.
it just shows that it's good to be a receiver and to be a giver. So that's what came to mind. And also, if we just go with like the image, the
Mhm.
earth, how miraculous is that? How it just does what it does. You know,
Yes.
the nature, water is connected to the universe. That's miraculous in itself. And bringing the baby. Hello, bringing the
Oh
baby
my
in as
gosh.
well.
Oh yeah, and I also think, this I wrote down receiving. I needed to write that down as you said it, Sylvia.
Yeah.
Um this the Empress is she really knows, and she understands cycles. So when I see an Empress in a reading and going, what's the miracle? The miracle is that there is a rhythm and a cycle, and we need to be paying attention to that.
Not the mundane, but that's really miraculous because this is connection
Yes.
to the universe. Like we forget the moon is not here; it's out there. So it's just
Yes.
the miracle in our mundane. The more we do this, there's really nothing mundane about anything. Everything's miraculous. So yeah. Anybody else want to add before we continue? Anything come to your mind?
Maru
Well,
said my
Linda would be funny. It would be miraculous to have a cat that actually follow you. I'm sure there is.
true dat. And Maru said, my physics teacher explained to us that life is scientifically impossible.
Mm, yeah.
It's pretty spectacular.
When I go into a feeling of the Empress, maybe because, you know, it's about receptivity, it feels so expansive.
Oh, yeah. There's limitless possibility here.
Yeah. And
That's
that's
beautiful.
one thing I'm learning about because, one Gerald brought up that I don't need to be like, oh, I need to understand the book, but the book helped with the foundation
Yes.
and to be more kinder because sometimes it's also about what we see, heal, feel. And I'm getting to where I'm feeling it out. So that's another new relationship with the tarot, feeling into it.
That's
And that's
beautiful.
intuition right there. So going receptivity, we're going to the next card, which is usually about giving. So the Four of Cups. I mean, it's interesting I said Four of Cups.
It's a 4.
Yeah, maybe because here the Four of Cups is not a great receiver. It needs to be
Yes.
a great receiver. But she wants to see the outcome. And that's where the Empress come in. It's the action person, right?
Yes.
So what would be the miracle of action? Well, when you're creating action, you're actually making things happen. You're not
Mhm.
just sitting there waiting for it to happen, although that could happen. So the
Yes.
miracle is that you are a great doer. You're
Mhm.
leading. What are you getting for yours?
The miracle of the emperor is the ability to see the big picture.
Oh,
Oftentimes, we lose ourselves in the tiny little details, and seeing the big picture is a miracle because it reminds me that this little thing that happened to me on the way to get bagels, somebody cut me off, is a small thing and it's not going to matter in 10 minutes. It's not going to matter next year. The miracle is, hey, pay attention to the big picture.
and it's funny because the big picture is somebody who's a chess player, they have to know, like, they see the whole board. So they're seeing the
Yes,
big picture of the whole board. I'm not a chess
absolutely.
player, by the way, but that makes sense.
Yes.
That's cool. You want to do
I
the
also
next one?
I also have to add to that is the king is not the most powerful uh piece on the chessboard. It's the queen. So the king knows that the thing that he should be taking care of is the queen.
Right, in a healthy relationship, right?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
And that's why, like, they both offer something. We all offer something, you know, uh, regardless of our gender. Now we're going really, but everybody
Oh,
offers something,
oh, yes, because there's like you said, the empress is about nurturing, the emperor is about big picture, and let me tell you, some of these amazing women who are watching this are the ones who can see the big picture when I can't see my hand in front of my face.
right? Right. So yeah, it's definitely. So let's see what Pamela said. I love the emperor now that I see the energy at the embodiment and the maintainer of the suit.
Oh, nice.
See how so mundane of, so to speak, oh, just being a doer and seeing a bigger picture, but nothing mundane about it. That's miraculous. You need a bigger picture person in order to make things happen. And also, sometimes um, the emperor could be seen as a wizard, right? Not always.
Could be. I think the emperor for me tends to be a bit more feet on the ground and physically based.
Okay.
Because he's wanting to the emperor energy wants to maintain and make sure that everyone that they care about is safe and well provided
So,
for.
what would be a male wizard? Would that be the high priestess or like
Either that or
hermit?
the temperance.
Oh, and what about the
Temperance.
hermit? Not
Hermit is yes, could be definitely because they spend a lot of time isolated. And they go inward and they're trying to find and make sense of everything. So
okay. And then we got her card is so back representing Egyptian art at human with crocodile head, was likely an early fertility god that was associated with both death and burial. Was that for the empress or emperor? Probably the empress, or maybe not.
oh, I'm not sure. And by the way, Kiba is here, Mary Alice Waters, and 99 Show.
Yeah, I don't see them. They're on his thing. That's why I'm like, where? Oh, there it is. Okay, I see it now.
Oh, Pharaoh instead of the Emperor. Okay.
Everybody, please like and subscribe to our channel. Please subscribe to each other's channel. And also, don't forget, later on, put in a comment what you got for yourself.
I love
So,
that.
how are we seeing the miracles in all these cards? Well, okay, the Hierophant could probably go so long of a list.
Well,
So, okay, go ahead.
I think the Hierophant, the miracle about it is creating the rules and the structures to help me understand what is going on for me. This is a very I like the difference between these two cards, Sylvia, because your card tends to be a little bit more modern, and this card, my card, tends to be a bit more religious based.
And also your cards tend to be more nature oriented or mundane, so to speak. And
Yes.
I guess the lights there tend to add a lot of mythical aspect to it, besides being modern.
Yes.
Well, that's great because seeing the miracle and the mundane to the miraculous. And the
Hmm.
Hierophant, obviously, is connection with spirituality.
Yes. I also think for me, the miracle that I'm reminded of when this card shows up is what is it traditionally that we have done? The miracle of tradition, which tells me at the same time, because it's been a tradition, we need to understand why it's a tradition. So the miracle is then we can make new traditions.
That's good that you mentioned tradition because in spirituality, sometimes it seems very like in the moment, but it's actually very ancient work.
Yes.
It's like the universe, it's very ancient, and but it's infinite in nature. So it's
Yes.
always going to seem like it's something new, but it's not. It's something that's always been there. So that
Mhm.
goes with that traditional thing, like going
Yes.
back to the basics, so to speak, but nothing basic about it. So the miracle is that it's all there. It's just all there. The connection to um,
I love
something
that.
bigger, but in a spiritual sense. It's not just,
Yes.
but isn't it like the Hierophant sometimes seen as the government?
I mean, you could, but that's because there's structure and rules about it. It's also definitely about community and the justice system. So,
And you know what come to mind when you say that? Harry Potter. So Harry Potter, they use the traditional sense of how magic works, but
mhm,
because a lot of time when you have new people that becoming wishes or whatever, they want to do something new. So this idea of bringing the new and old together, the
sure.
old very important. The Hierophant is a very important aspect to even modern magic and things
Yes.
like that. Because the universe is already out there. So is there
Yes.
anything you want to add from here that you're seeing in the comment?
Well, I see Cosmic Orphan. It says the cross keys at the Hierophant's feet represent the balance between the conscious and subconscious minds and the unlocking of mysteries which only he can teach. And what's interesting with that is he can teach you how to get to those mysteries and give you the keys, yet you're the one who has to unlock them. The Hierophant cannot unlock them for you.
Yeah, that's so important with any spiritual teaching. It reminds me of the glimmer. So you can have somebody who talk to you what a glimmer is. They tell you what it means, da 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 da, but ultimately come to you and your experiential experiences in regard how that
Correct.
glimmer goes. That's why you got to listen to the teacher, and the teachers
Yes.
tend to come when you're ready, right? Because
Yep.
yeah, yeah, okay. So the next one is the lovers, right? The
Mhm.
lovers is really interesting because it means so many different things. This is where intuition comes to play to know what context it's under. It's not about the obvious, you know, relationship between the two.
Mhm.
Especially when we're talking about miracles. Miracles could be going back to the Empress and the Emperor, seeing how they both are important and they both play a part, which kind of goes with the lover cards.
Uh-huh.
And the yin and yang could be seen as a lover card.
Yes.
So, what you got? I know you're
Uh,
covering your head. Toot toot.
well, I think the for me, the miracle of the lovers is to remember the importance of balance and empathy, because we're looking for someone to provide us and to support us with that which we do not have. However, we are whole together, or we're whole by ourselves. This person is just other people. It allows the miracle to remind me everybody can teach me something and give me an opportunity to experience something. So I think, it's really about struggling to find the balance. What does that look like?
Yeah,
What
but
does,
it's interesting. Come to mind like you got yourself as whole, but Otherwise, you're just sitting there being like, like the Buddha, just sitting there. But even Buddha connecting to something. So that could be like the lover, the other aspect. Um, so, and then we talk about love. It's about connection. So the miracle is the connection. Connection make us alive. I know it does for me when I really connect with somebody.
Uh-huh.
Even like being here in a group with you guys, it's inspiring and invigorating. This idea of this other thing that we're connecting with.
Yeah, it's an opportunity to bring more power and to augment what we have. So that's beautiful.
I have a question for you guys in a comment, especially how would you see the miracle in the lovers? Now, looking at the card, tell me, because I'm curious. Both of us are curious how you see the miracle in the lovers. I mean, it
Mhm.
could be like somebody's like, "Oh, I've been single for 50 years, and the miracle is that I experienced it." But okay, let's see. Stephen said, "The lover card can symbolize the integration of opposing force within
Right.
oneself, such as conscious and unconscious, or the masculine feminine aspect of the self, integration of contract." That's a miracle right there.
Mhm. And
And I believe we are truly whole in a realm where duality of this place and time is gone. Wow, we got some woo-woo people here for sure.
well, these are, we know they're the best chatters, they're the future lurkers, they're the best lurkers, and they're the work lurkers. And you're bringing it. So I love that.
Yeah, I think I would like, I'm just kind of, just for fun on a little quick side, what the best shadow is. I remember we had a different card for it, but for here, yeah, it's like a Queen of Pentacle. You guys just got
Uh,
it going on. That's keep it simple. That's like this. Do
yes,
that
yes,
fan thing now. You got the fan. There you go. There you
yes,
go.
Queen.
That's you guys, the best shatter. Let's see. Finding someone you can love and who love you back is pretty miraculous. That's
Oh,
right.
that's true.
Look
That's
at the
true.
divorce rate. That's so mundane.
Yes.
Okay. So the next card is the Chariot.
Hmm. I think the miracle of the chariot for me is oftentimes there's it's the reminder the only way through the only way to get over something is to go through it.
Hmm.
We have it with the black and white horses. It reminds me you have to balance the things that you see are positive and the things that you see as negative. There's an important balance. And in that movement forward, there's great opportunity. And stay focused, stay focused, stay focused.
That makes sense because otherwise you're stagnant. So the importance of the movement, going through it, it's like especially without going details what's going on, we're going through it. We're not hiding. Hi, Karen. And so that's a miracle. Like if I was stuck in my ways and hiding, I would never see like, oh, I'm stronger than I thought because we're
Mhm.
going through it. So that's the miracle. Like just going through it. Movement. You can't get nothing done without movement.
Yes.
So and that could show up in many different ways. So how you guys see movement in the chariot card? I'm just kind of curious. No, not how. How you see miracles in the chariot card?
Mhm.
Sorry, that's what I meant to say. Anybody had an idea? Could
Oh, Karen said that that's one of my fave chariot cards, Sylvia.
Oh, with the
Yes.
light there. So how do you guys see this as a miracle in regard to chariot? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Heading energy is
That's a movement. Yeah, energy
yes,
movement.
healing energy. Yes.
A car would be a miracle. Getting a car.
Uh,
I'm feeling that too. That's something I got. I
yeah.
in regard going through it. the importance of that. And then Stephen said, what signify the power of the will. Oh, to overcome challenges and move forward with determination by balancing the two pillars. Yeah, because nothing without movement, you can't get to the other side, so to speak.
Yes.
So that's a miracle.
Pamela shared, I see the Chariot as accomplishment. That's
a miracle.
insightful. Yeah.
Especially if you guys study or, maybe came from a poor background and here you are being very successful. That's miraculous. And that's just mundane, like action. Maybe you're intuitive. You use your intuition plus common sense.
Yes.
Sometimes we can sit there and manifest, but a lot of time you need the divine will tell us we need to co-create, right? That's what comes to mind. So the co-creating of the Chariot, the two, or the polarity, what they both offer to each other, kind of like the Lover cards, or the feminine and male aspect, the Empress and the Emperor. It all goes back somehow. These cards, they're all like oneness. If you go through the 78 cards and realize I am or been each card one point or another in some way. Like if you're a female, we have a masculine aspect or do masculine.
Yes.
This is really what the idea about oneness is about.
Correct.
So
Maru said the invention of the wheel changed humanity, as did the invention of engines.
I didn't even think of that. And also it could be George Jetson, like in the future,
Sure.
the Chariot, like the ship.
That's
miraculous for us. Oh, that's cool. See, that's why we need you guys, bringing up ideas. What else you got, Gerald?
Tarot Your Way, Thomas said, when you think you do not have strength, the Chariot propels you forward when you see only being stuck.
And that's miraculous. That is miraculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creation is true manifestation, in my opinion. Well, I think I agree with you. And that's a miracle.
And think they are very mythical, right? They're like mythical, like very miraculous in nature. Yeah. But so we went from the mundane to the woo-woo in regard how we could see this being miraculous. Yes. So the next card is the Strength.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so right off the bat, we got in this image, because I'm looking at the image, so we got the aspect of being the beauty and the beast. So the miracle is how to be with that both sides to us. And what coming to me, maybe because I'm looking at the heart, not that it means that, but how to be kind that we are a beast too. And how we could be beauty and the beast. I don't know, that's what's coming to be, which makes sense because in traditional, it's about taming the beast. But it's also about acceptance, because as the traditional that Gerald had, she accepts him, right? So that's miraculous, I feel, because acceptance to me feels very, I don't know, but this idea, like if you allow and accept, that's when you give room for change, for miracles. It opens up to everything. Yeah. So what do you got?
I something that you said is there's a great deal of respect that oozes from this card, because in my card, no lion is going to allow someone to do this to their head and to their jaw.
Right. No, that is a miracle.
Be that silly in order to be able to do that. So there's one of the miracles is the respect for those things that are challenging for us. And always for me, one of my keywords for the Strength card is perseverance. And that's pretty much a miracle when things are really, really crappy. If you can find that one thing that helps you persevere, you can do an incredible amount of stuff.
And you know what it reminds me of? They were saying, what do you think the meaning for genius? I think some of it's like, no matter what, you're not going to be that level. And some people said it's just you working on it over and over and over again until you're a great piano player or whatever, which goes back with the perseverance thing.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's miraculous, just perseverance, because the things that you could create out of that.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, the very mundane thing kind of vibe to that. So let's see. We have The Strength card can be seen a manifestation of the self archetype. The psyche signify the power to harness and manage one's instinct, desire, emotion. That's miraculous when you get
Mhm.
to learn how to be with that, like the art of how to harness your power in that sense.
Yes. The challenge, giving a pill to any cat.
Mm,
You're right. You're right.
I like that. The poetic
Mhm.
as
Yes.
one. Yeah. So what are you guys getting, like what how that could show up as a miracle for you? Just one or two. You know what? Just to be ahead of time, every card that we do, know that I'm gonna ask you this question for each card. So get that ready. So when I ask, you have it ready.
Go for it. Be the ever overachiever we know you are.
That's right. Get right to it. So the Could I feel like when you guys add to it, it makes a difference. It
Oh,
teaches me
it
anyway.
really does. It's great. So our next card is the Hermit. And for me, the miracle about this is to be able to compartmentalize and to break things down to see the individual parts and how they fit together. Um, that being said, one of the not so miraculous things about the miracle is I could be getting caught up into over analyzing it, and
Yeah.
I miss the bigger picture. But for me, one of the miracles about the hermit is the ability to look at all of the pieces and parts.
Yeah. And the seeing the light. So to see the light with
Yes.
that wisdom in anything from the mundane to the woo is the miracle. To have that vision, that kind of insight, like he said, but on the opposite end, when it's
Mhm.
not utilized correctly, you got the over analyzing. So that is miraculous. If you have that side to you that could see what other can see, that's miraculous. That's why
Yeah.
there are people who are expert in certain things, certain fields. They have that ability. And also, we're going to go back to the wizard. We know the wizard had so
Mhm.
many things that it could create, utilizing the mundane material and the unseen.
Yeah. I also think the hermit is a great manifester. The hermit has the ability to make something appear or to acquire it. What did you have up? The miracle of self-worth and acceptance. Oh yeah. I like that.
Because why? Even the hermit will accept its flaws, could it see the bigger picture? So the hermit represents the positive desire of the person to pursue the knowledge and techniques that without insight or understanding, then let your lamp shine till they can't see you. Remind me of scientists for some reason. You know how they have that much
Oh, yeah.
knowledge?
Yeah. Mhm. They're really focused. There is a
Mm,
focused energy about that.
cool.
Yes. Love that.
We're doing
Love.
good. Okay, so we got the Wheel of Fortune. So, okay, hello, there's a miracle card all over it.
Mhm.
Uh, you're turning the cycle, you leaving one thing to the next. So you're not stuck. You obviously utilize your chariot card, you doing the movement. If you don't go to the mundane, could be, going to school and then studying and then getting a career at it. That's miraculous. Some people don't have that opportunity. Some people are magician where they can make a tree or a branch into gold, literally.
Mhm.
So many ways we could see this. What do you see?
The miracle about the Wheel of Fortune is that everything changes.
Yes.
The wonderful thing about the wheel is that it's the wheel of fortunate or the wheel of fortune. So I like to believe things will change and you will see a more fortunate opportunity or a fortunate way of progressing that was not able to be seen. So
Yeah.
that may be a little lofty, but I love it.
We're working it. We're working it.
Yes.
This is really funny. This is fun to see how things could be seen as a miracle. But you have so many hermit. Now that you guys are actually answering, I can't go to the next thing because you all took the effort. So hermit, the miracle. Okay, we saw that. let's see, your lamp shine till they can't see you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, my hermit is a boat with the Eye of Horus on it. Eye of Horus, an ancient Egypt symbol representing protection, health, and restoration.
Restoration is miraculous, the ability to heal
Yes,
from like a unhealthy state to a better state.
yes.
Hermit is Mercury and Earth, bringing thought to manifestation, which is a miracle. You're bringing thought into,
Yes,
physical. And then challenge of a hermit, can you be calm without the external barrage of stimulation? And can you be at peace with yourself? That's like a miracle, keeping the silence or the calm.
that's very insightful. Very insightful. Pamela said the wheel, we can never slow down or speed up. It's
So
always
it's
moving.
so it's reliable. That's a miracle. It's reliable.
Oh, yes.
It's reliable.
I like that.
Yeah, make me wonder. It's a reliable thing. The wheel fortune, it does what it does. It's not a good or bad thing. It's just what is. Like karmic, right?
Yes.
Or
I
yeah. So
really
how
like
can you
that.
see that as a miracle though? Like I guess, you know,
Well, it's the humans that put the construct on whether something is good or bad.
that's
It
true.
it, it just is. It's
It just
neither
is.
good nor bad. We're the one who does that.
That's one thing I'm getting from this whole video. It just is. I said that like 2 times. So miracle is depending on how we see what miracle is. Kind of goes back to our 4 cup. You are given things, but maybe we have ideas about what a miracle look like, so we ignore it. So
Yeah.
it just is. It's a miracle. Yeah, yeah. It's
Mhm.
pretty interesting. Divine timing. That's cool. That
If you leave your foot stuck in the wheel, it will push you out eventually. Yes, and that's a miracle when we understand that the wheel is reliable and divine, and we stay focused on moving that way, there's a miracle that we're able to adjust quickly.
that's
So,
cool. It feels more, as we talk about the wheel of fortune, it feels really old, right? Because it just is. It just is. That's the beauty of I guess, the universe or whatever.
eh,
So,
the only constant in the universe is change. Embrace it. Opportunity for growth and transformation. Resist and suffer the fate of fortune.
you know what reminds me of like what Gerald and I were talking about behind the scene, that, and the idea of being 400, but spirituality, and like if I was 400 years old, the card will always be seen as something new, because like the
Correct.
wheel of fortune, it's reliable, and also the universe is too infinite to be bored at something, and also I think sometimes maybe there's time to let it go and go into a different form of using tools.
True. True.
O- Okay, so let's go because we don't want to make the video like 5 hours long.
Well,
So
we could do a second part to this,
yeah, let's do a second part. That way it's not too overwhelming.
but let's do card number 11.
Okay, we'll do 11, then we'll do a part 2.
Justice. The miracle about justice. Well, you know what? What's the miracle about justice for everybody in chat?
Yeah, let's do that. We're gonna leave it to you. So we'll give you a second. Yeah, so meanwhile, while you guys think about that, I'll just say we'll do a part 2 where we'll continue. But I'll let you look at the image. You tell us, what is the miracle in the justice card? Because even though we're talking, it really, the video is all about you. And there's no really right or wrong answer.
Stephen, Jackie's Crystal Moon wants you to send her an email. She wants to have a quick chat. You are in trouble. I'm kidding.
Good luck getting it. Oh. So we're gonna wrap this up, but I'm gonna let you guys type it in because sometimes you have to think about it.
Yeah.
And So we'll give you
Pamela
another few
Batchelor said,
seconds.
"Trust the wheel's timing as it relates to the wheel." And, I
Oh,
think yeah. Oh,
okay.
now we're getting some other ones. Yep,
She brings fairness and balance.
yep,
Balance and no bias. That's a miracle. Can you imagine having no bias? That's
yeah,
what the point of justice, due process and things like that. To really be not have balance and see for what it is, that is miraculous because we do have the monkey mind and things like that. Uh, Otherwise, we use it for bad. If you don't do justice, you put your bias in it, and then it becomes corrupt.
yes. I think, for me, part of the idea of justice is what is the balance that needs to happen? And recognizing that it may not seem to be the best thing for me right now because I'm so close to it. However, the miracle of that is this is a card that says, I mean, if you look in my card and in your card, she's not actually doing anything. She's holding up the sword of truth and the scale, trying to keep the scales in balance. That's really hard to do.
And speaking of coming after the wheel of fortune, where it's just doing its thing. So whether in this lifetime or from other lifetime, you could guarantee that justice will come and serve.
Yes.
Um, and that's a miracle. That's a miracle in itself. When you are being heard and you're getting your justice, that's a nice thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at
Justice and balancing it in general, just learning how to balance that
yeah.
rather than feeling off. That's a nice thing. So let's see what else.
Subconscious prejudices can make true justice miraculous. Yes.
What do you mean by that? Go in detail, Gerald. What do you think she meant by that? I don't understand.
Well, I think because we all have prejudices, whether or not we realize it because of the nature of our environment.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it is, as Thomas says, it's the miracle of impartiality. You have to be impartial to be able to find that justice and that balance.
Right? That's like a miracle to really be free of
Yes.
bias or not to be corrupt.
Yes.
Because I think sometimes I'm getting that justice, person of justice doesn't necessarily have to be a good or bad person. It just do the right thing. So I might think, oh, that person is good. They're like, no, may not be a good person, but he just does the right thing.
Mhm.
So
Justice is another thing that reminds us that balance is the goal, and filters. That's what prejudices are.
you know what it reminds me of? Like, how we're talking about the harmony, right? Which is like this.
Yes.
We got rid of, like, for example, it may seem offhand, but you guys may get it. The idea of getting rid of the woods, I mean, rid of bees or getting rid of wolves in the park. And then when they realized when they killed too many wolves, it created imbalance in the environment. So there are reasons for everything. Like, I don't know if you guys understand, like, we could judge the bees, we want to kill it, or we could judge certain animals, we want to kill it, but they are important in itself. They
There's
serve the environment, you know?
there is I mean, I think the miracle. Well, okay, I'll add this. This is the miracle of justice is that there is a balance in nature, and there's a balance that must be maintained. When I am out of balance, I'm not making appropriate choices for me or for my long-term benefit. This is
Yeah.
a balance between what I want and what I need.
And this is very important as a reader. When we
Mhm.
get too involved, or if we're really reading for others, we have to get out of the way
Oh, yes.
because then
Yes.
it creates imbalance. So
Mhm.
this whole idea of everything has a purpose, you know,
Yes.
um, without judgment. Yeah, yeah, it's very deep, guy, too deep.
Yes.
So I just want to, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, Pamela has said, "Is justice fairness?" I don't think so. I
You're
agree with
right.
you. I agree
Mm,
with you. I agree with you, and that's a very deep philosophical conversation.
right. That's probably a video in itself.
Yeah, and, Maru said fairness is just. Um, mm, let's teeter those scales a little bit because that's a very thoughtful question.
That, like I said, is a video in itself. It's too deep. Because maybe the just is, for example, we got rid of wolves. Why? Because they are harmful to human beings. But what happened by getting rid of the wolves? Well, bees are,
We better
what
not get
happens when
rid
we
of
get rid of
these.
them?
We will be
They're
dead.
not very friendly to humans sometimes, like certain things, but it does what it does. It's a justice card. Yeah, so it could be like, is there justice? Is there fairness? But that's just the way it is. I think the theme of this whole video is just the way it is. That's what each card is.
Well, and there's an aspect of a miracle is I think the miracle of the cards is when we're doing readings, we are open to actually seeing things in a much clearer way. That's a miracle. Personally, I use the tarot to help me have a broader perspective about my situation so I can make an informed decision.
Yeah. And to wrap it up, like, well, besides, like, what is good about creating that intention of that we will see the miracle in each card. Uh, yeah, it's just a new conversation. Just make us see things differently. That's what it comes down to.
I love it.
And besides the bringing awareness about the glimmer aspect, which is how you could see the grace and positivity to the mundane to miraculous, I guess, right? Like
Yes.
when you do your videos, you like, I really enjoyed that. I had a cup of soup, like this certain, like
Mhm.
so.
Yes. Yeah. I
So the
love that.
great show, thank you. If you have any
Thank you.
insight you want to add, how we could do to part two, to the rest of the cards, the Major Arcana deck, please let us know. And thank you for participating. And I hope you get to see how you could see miracles in even all 78 cards.
Yeah,
That would take
I
a
would I would
long
love
time.
to I would love to have people leave comments about if they've pulled a particular card,
Oh,
what miracle they have seen with it.
that'd be nice.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think that's very powerful.
Okay, so take care and enjoy your day.